If we're on this raft of life, this boat of life, are we communicating? Are we working together as a team? Do we trust each other? Because those are three Venn diagrams. They all interrelate with each other. So this is what happens when mom and dad argues. They're like, oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated. So what does mom do? Mom goes to tend off the kids because they're going to get the most significant amount of love. Dad goes, you know what? Mom got the kids. They're going to be okay. I'm just going to go focus at work because that's where dad gets most significant because those are needs that they get met. But here's what happens. It doesn't happen year one, doesn't happen year two, doesn't happen year five. Further down the road, you guys gonna separate. And their worst case scenario in the beginning is you guys gonna be paddling different directions, and eventually somebody's gonna stop paddling, and eventually you guys gonna just give up. And this is what happens when you put your kids first. So instead, what you should do is put your relationship first. Because if your relationship is good, your relationship is okay, your kid's gonna feel that. They're gonna feel safe. They're not gonna go back and say, you know what, it's because mom and dad's divorced, it was my fault. They're not gonna have that narrative. You guys getting this? So now as you understand your relationship matter and putting your kids first, they all go interrelated as well. There are times that you do put your kids first, 100%. I totally 100% agree. But then those are situational, right? So when that event is over, focus on mom and dad time. And what that looks like in our family is we have date nights. We want to make sure we're okay first. And we are the model of our kids. If our kids see us, we're doing well, then they feel calm, they feel happy, and they feel safe. Which is number 3. Our kids' misbehavior manifests from how we as parents regulate our emotions. This is going to be a pretty heavy topic here, so I just want to forewarn everybody. And the reason why I bring this up, I feel like I have to bring this up because if I don't do it, it won't do you guys justice. Because a lot of parents, what they do, it's like, you know what, it's work. I'm really tired from work. I totally get it. I've been there and done that too, right? I'm so stressed out of work, or mom be like, you know what, it's the PTA, it's the school, it's something, you know, it's the kids, they just don't listen. What if it's not the kids? What if it's us? Because how we regulate our emotion will impact our kids. So let me explain it a different way. So most of you guys are professions here. Most of you guys been at work, assume. So let's just say that you're working with a client. If you are a client-facing type of person, or if you are working in a team environment. Let's say that you are the salesperson if you're working with a client and you start having a panic attack in front of your clients. What happens? Do you think the clients will trust you? Do you think the clients will feel safe? Do you think the clients will buy from you? Absolutely not, because they don't trust you. So what about if you're in a team environment? Let's just say your boss, your leader, your CEO or your VP or executive, and they're like blowing up like, oh my God, like, you know, we're burning red here. We need to go fire some people, or we won't be able to meet next month's payroll. How is that going to make the employees feel? I think they're going to panic attack, right? I know this is like no brainer, but let's put this in context of a relationship or back into a family dynamics. What happens if mom and dad are fighting? What do you think the kid's going to feel? The kid's also going to feel like, you know what, they're going to have panic attack too. So I'm going to share with you why regulating your emotion matters. What science had to say about this was they done an early study in the 1980s, and there's a little thing called mirror neuron. With that, just a lot of big words. What that really means is we like to be with people that's like us. So what happened is when kids are born, the mom and dads are their superheroes. They copy everything that we do. You're getting this? So that's what I'm saying. Emotional regulation. If we're having a shit fit, if we're being angry, if we're feeling frustrated, if we're feeling overwhelmed, guess what happens? The kid's going to pick that up too. So here's a test. So these are kids from were just born to 2 weeks old, right? And you see these are different kids. And what they did was they just came into the hospital, and you see this guy, this researcher, he's doing all these facial expressions to see what happens to the kids if he did this facial expression. So first picture on the left, you see the guy sticking out his tongue. And soon after, the kid is sticking out his tongue. And then the second one is, you know, the researchers open his mouth. In the second picture, the kids open up his mouth. And the third one, you know, he goes cuckoo, cuckoo. And then the kids, you know, see this pucker up his lips, right? Very cute. So I'm going to share a quick video with you and see why our kids are always modeling us. Even though at a young age, but when they grow up, see that modeling? So not modeling just from our parents, also modeling from siblings. Notice how like your kids walk like dads? The kids, you know how we lick our fingers to turn the page? So here's what's even cooler. The dog is scratching his ears and kids doing it.
Where did you learn to sit like that? Oh.
And that's how beatbox is born. See, the kid's not even looking at dad. already mimicking the same body posture. Pretty crazy, huh? So this is what I'm saying. Our kids model everything that we do. Saying as we're growing up, like, I hate it what my mom did to me, because they're always saying like, because I said so, and that's why, right? Or things like, I gotta tell you, when I was your age, I gotta walk this 10 miles up this hill in the snow when I was in school, right? Well, they'll say like, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. And then when we grow up, we're like, I'm never gonna be like my mom. And here's a classical parenting paradox. So what happens is we echo those phrases that we swore that we'll never use. It's the same one that parents would say to us. And oftentimes we say like, why do I start to sound like my mother? You guys get it? I see people nodding their heads. This is the reason why. Because as human, we model off our parents, because again, our parents are our superheroes. Okay. So quickly recap. Thing is you want to remember is, number one, okay, your relationship matters. 2 is putting your kids first. You're gonna have a lot of problem if you did that. Okay. Number 3 is your kids' misbehavior manifests from how we regulate our emotions. Okay. What that means is we're gonna talk about what to do instead. So here are the 3 calls to action. Number 1, some of you guys are clients already. You guys heard this. I'm gonna talk about this over and over again because it is so crucial. It's so important. The idea behind, if you look at everything around, mostly about parenting, why moms or dad are flipping out, because what we really want is control. So what is stress? Stress is something that we can't control. Yes or no? Stress is something that we can't control in this moment. So think about time when you're at work, when you're waiting for that the purchase order from your client, and you're like totally stressed out. It's like end of the month, you're at your end of the quarter, and you're waiting for that check to come in from your client. You keep on calling, you're checking your phone, making sure like they got your email, either they got your text. So that's stress. That's something you have no control over. Same thing as kids. Can we tell does our kids always do what we tell them to do? No, right? So what we're really after is control. So what that means is, if we're really after control, we need to know how to regulate our feelings. And it starts with understanding inner locus and outer locus. Some of you guys already heard this before, but it's also a good reminder, okay? Outer locus is like, can you control traffic? Maybe you're in downtown LA. Maybe you're in downtown rush hour somewhere, and you're stuck behind. You're 10 minutes late for a meeting, or 10 minutes late for work, or 10 minutes late to meet a friend. God forbid you're 10 minutes late to go meet your wife. Can you control the traffic? And you're sitting there, bumper to bumper. There's absolutely nothing you can do, but you get frustrated, right? I know I get too, okay? Because it's frustrating because you don't have control. So can you control the weather? You're like, you know what? We're gonna go to a picnic this weekend. And it starts like rain, like thunderstorm, disrupt your entire plan. Can you control that? Absolutely not. So what can you control then? The only person you can control is you, how you feel in that moment. So going back to an analogy that I gave you, the scenario I gave you where, when you're in a leadership position, if you're in a sales position, you're going crazy, your client's going to go crazy too. If you're in a leadership position, if you're going nuts, your staff is going to go nuts too. What that also means, if you're a parent, if you are going nuts as parents, if you're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, your kid's going to pick up that energy, and they're also not going to feel safe, because we want our kids to feel safe, right? So the idea behind number 1 is understanding control, inner locus and outer locus. And what that really means is the only thing we can control is how we feel, how we respond, the inner locus. Number 2 is you got to learn how to self-regulate. And I'm going to share with you how to self-regulate. And there are a couple of different things. Through this trauma conference I went to, they talked about the somatic response, right? So one of the really famous person I've been studying with the last 2 years, his name is Bessel van der Kolk. He was a former Harvard professor. He's also a physician. He is really the father of PTSD. He actually coined the term PTSD because early on when the Vietnam vets came back, he done a lot of clinical trials and working with them, and really came up with these behaviors called PTSD. And the last 2 presidents have been asking him to join the White House and how to talk about trauma recovery, right? And he's also got invited back to South Africa when the apartheid got disbanded. When Nelson Mandela came in, he invited him to come over and talk about how do we heal people as a country. So I was very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have studied with him. And one of the things he talked about is the somatic response. The patterns he picked up, he found that a lot of these, whether it's Vietnam vets, whether it was children in trauma, whether parenting, whether like sexual abuse, all of that, our body keeps that energy. So that's why he wrote the book, The Body Keeps Score. Okay. And how do we regulate our emotions is not in our head. Because how many times have somebody told me, like, just calm down. So in the middle of the heat of argument, okay, try telling your spouse to calm down. Let me know how that worked out for you. It doesn't, right? Honey, calm down. Are you kidding me? So that doesn't work. So let me ask you this, same situation with your kids. Your kids are like misbehaving, they're angry, they're yelling, they're crying, they're frustrated, they're throwing tantrums. And he goes, John, calm down. How well does that work? We all done it. Come on, be honest. We all done it. It doesn't work. Hear that? You give them a list, right? You go lecture. When I was your age, if I acted like that, I would have got an ass whooping. You can't act like that. And these are the reasons why you can't act like that. And just go down the list. You give on this full lecture. Does that work? It doesn't. So in order to teach our kids how to self-regulate, we got to know how to self-regulate ourselves. It starts with understanding somatic responses. So whenever we feel angry, whenever we feel frustrated, whenever we feel overwhelmed, we're going to have sensation in our body. So let's quickly do this. So like some of you are kind of lost right now. So we're going to bring this back into your body and feel this. So I like to invite everybody. So if you find a nice, calm and quiet place, and I like you to think about or remember a moment that you were on a roller coaster. Okay, so if you're driving, please pause. If you're doing heavy machinery, please pause. Don't do this exercise. But if you are in a calm environment, I'd like to invite you to think about the last time you were on a roller coaster. It might be 10 years ago, it might be 15 years ago, a long time ago, whatever that is, right? So you're on a roller coaster and I see people shaking their head like, no. I see why. So as you're on a roller coaster, you're climbing, you're strapped in, right? And you're climbing all the way to the top. And so if you don't mind, play full out with me on this. So you get to the top, and right when you're about to drop, what do you feel? And where do you feel in your stomach? None of you guys are on a roller coaster right now. But why did you feel it? Because your body remembers. You're scared. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Miguel said, yes, scared. Because your body remembers. So that's why our body keeps score. So I'm going to share with you a quick exercise before we get into exercise, this meditation. I like to invite everybody to find a quiet environment if you want to get the most out of this. And who gets this? Like when we are still, we also have this major impact with our kids. Our kids also feel calm as well. Right? Who wants that? So I like to invite you to take a nice deep breath in, nice deep breath out, a fuller deep breath in, fuller deep breath out. And some of you might be yawning, and that's beautiful. And the deepest breath you take in all day. Let it go. If that feels good for you, do another sigh. Okay. So I'd like to invite you to place both hands on top of your heart, and I'd like to invite you to think about 3 things that you are grateful for today. 3 things. It could be 2 small things and 1 big thing. Like maybe we're very grateful for the clean air we get to breathe, the clean water we get to drink, the abundance of food we have on our table. Small stuff, and maybe 1 big stuff for you. I'll give you a couple minutes here. So as I share with you this concept of stressed out, right? Stress is really nothing more than we focus on things that doesn't really matter, that we have no control over with. So what if I were to tell you that everything we have right now, people would kill to live, to be, if you never got a chance to travel around the world, I highly recommend it. I had an opportunity to travel to parts of Asia, and I quickly realized how great we have it here, the things we take granted for. If you've never been to Asia, oh my God, it's really noisy. Okay, there's a lot of noises around traffic, people, crowd, honking. Traffic is, oh my God, it's chaotic. It's controlled chaos, right? They don't have Whole Foods there. They don't have organic stuff. Now they're trying to, but most of them they eat aren't really that the food quality isn't really that great. And people would literally die to have what we have. So maybe take a moment to really give thanks for that. Okay? And with that said, a lot of times when we're overwhelmed, when we frustrated, is because at some level we feel like we're not doing enough, we're not giving enough to our kids, and we spin out of control. So with that said, I'm going to share with you this 2-minute guided meditation, help you get grounded. And as I'm narrating this meditation, I'd like to invite you to remind yourself who you really are. I'd like to invite you to ask yourself, who is this beautiful soul that brings the warmest smile to everyone I see? Who is this beautiful soul that radiates kindness and compassion to the people all around? Who is this beautiful soul that is a beacon of hope and brings love to the people that are around me? Who is this beautiful soul, knowing that each step I take is a reflection of my soul's beauty and strength? Who is this beautiful soul who knows deep down that I'm guided by infinite wisdom from God, the divine, and the universe? Who is this beautiful soul that is grateful and realizes that everything is a gift, even though if it doesn't feel like it sometimes? Who is this beautiful soul that knows even though life can be challenging at times, deep down I know that life is happening for me, not to me? Who is this beautiful soul that I know that honors the beauty within me and appreciates everything that I am? Who is this beautiful soul that knows I am joy, I am happiness, I am grateful, I am courageous? And repeat after me. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am love. I am love. I am love. May this brings you peace into your heart and peace into others. I see the light in you. You see the light in me.